Ryan Walters is the current Oklahoma Superintendent of Public Instruction and a former high school history teacher. He's made waves lately for having ordered that the Bible be in every classroom in the state of Oklahoma, and that teachers must teach from it, as well as incorporating the Ten Commandments into their lessons. These Bibles must be the King James Version, include the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution, and must be bound in leather or another similarly durable material, and all at the state taxpayer's expense, a cost of roughly $6 million per reporting. After a number of parents, teachers, and religious leaders filed lawsuits to stop this infringement on Oklahomans' constitutional rights, Walters was quoted by local news station FKOR as saying, "Oklahomans will never be bullied by out-of-state radical leftists who hate the principles our nation was founded upon." He went on to say, "It is not possible for our students to understand American history and culture without understanding the biblical principles for which they came. So I am proud to bring back the Bible to every classroom in Oklahoma, and I will never back down to the woke mob." Let's examine his claims. The King James Bible is the historical document and foundation to the United States via our founding fathers, as well as the Ten Commandments being the fundamental principles to American culture. King James I of England commissioned the 1611 or King James Bible in 1604, and it was completed in 1611. It was commissioned due to, in large part, growing Puritan pressure. The objective was to settle religious disagreements caused by reforms within the Church of England, and for King James to increase his perception as a monarch and a spiritual leader. Previously, the Geneva Bible was the Bible of choice of the Puritans and the well-known, such as William Shakespeare. However, King James disliked several aspects of the Geneva Bible, notably its reference to monarchs as tyrants. Despite this, roughly 20% of the Geneva Bible was directly copied to the King James Version. A group of Puritan separatists, who would later be known as the Mayflower Pilgrims, fled England in 1608 for the Netherlands, before the King James Version was completed. Then in 1620 they boarded the Mayflower for Virginia, out of fear that, in time, they would assimilate and lose their English language and culture. By the time they disembarked in 1621, more than half the crew and passengers had died, mostly due to spending a harsh winter aboard a ship anchored just offshore in what is now known as Cape Cod Bay, Massachusetts, completely missing their intended target of Virginia. But they brought with them many copies of the Geneva Bible. In 1630, nearly 400 non-separatist Puritans from England joined them at the Plymouth colony, and brought the King James Bible with them, followed by thousands more within the next decade. However, before the Mayflower voyage, the Jamestown colony had already been established in 1607 after King James I granted the Virginia Company of London a charter earlier the same year. The roughly 100 men that founded Jamestown were not Puritans, but were members of the Anglican Church of England, and before sailing had to acknowledge the king's supremacy and the Pope's lack of authority, again bringing with them the Geneva Bible, while the first complete copy of the King James Version wasn't printed in the Americas until 1782, well after the penning of the Declaration of Independence. Many have claimed that the Founding Fathers were Christians, but in actuality, they were deists or theistic rationalists that believed in a creator but did not believe in Jesus' divinity or resurrection, that valued reason over religious revelation. Washington, Jefferson, Franklin, Madison, and Monroe were all deists, Thomas Jefferson being notable for having created his own Bible and being the major contributor in writing the Declaration of Independence. In fact, a 1984 paper by Donald Lutz, which is often purposefully misrepresented by Christian apologists, found that of the two groups of founding fathers, the Federalists and Anti-Federalists, that the pro-Constitution Federalists quoted the Bible in 0% of their published writings, and that the Anti-Federalists quoted the Bible in only 9% of their published writings between 1777 and 1778, immediately after they declared independence from the Crown. Another false internet claim is that James Madison was inspired to develop the three branches of government because of Isaiah 33:22. James Madison, who was a deist, a Federalist, and the author of the Bill of Rights, which are the first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution, and the First Amendment, which guarantees religious freedom. There is no evidence for such claims, and is highly unlikely. No, the Founding Fathers based the U.S. Constitution on existing state constitutions, colonial and English common law, along with writings like Montesquieu's The Spirit of the Laws. The historicity of the Bible has been debated in Western culture since the creation of archaeology, which really started as biblical archaeology in an effort to prove that the Bible was true. The results? There was no mass exodus from Egypt, no United Kingdom of Israel, and no contemporary eyewitness accounts of Jesus, his miracles, or resurrection. The Ten Commandments were not foundational to the creation of the Constitution. Only 4 of the commandments have ever had corresponding laws codified. Thou shalt not kill, steal, bear false witness against your neighbor, or commit adultery. Coincidentally, this is still a felony in Oklahoma. The U.S. Constitution prohibits the government at any level from stating or enforcing the first commandment, that the Hebrew God is the only God and therefore the God of the United States. False, false, false.